All right, what everybody, what, blah, 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 blah. Hello, everybody. Sorry for that little blurb messed up. I am here with, man, I get to say it all the time because I think everyone that I talk to, especially from the Denver school and just the Easton organization in general, you guys are like my favorite people. So I get to like talk to my friends all the time for an hour straight. And because we never get to do this. Like I always come and talk to you. I'm with Amy Fidelis. Hi, Amy.
Hi.
And I always get to come and talk to you. I'm like teaching class or something, right? And then I like run over and we talk for 10 minutes or not even 10 minutes, like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
You know? So we get an hour. How are you?
Ooh, I'm doing well. I'm happy to be talking to you.
Are you nervous?
Oh, sure.
Okay. Thank you for doing it. I know everyone especially I sprung it on you yesterday.
Well, I think I appreciate that. It didn't give me any time to really worry too much, you know?
Right. Oh, you're a worrier, correct?
I tend to think a lot. Yeah.
What do you think about? Like what worries you? Just in general, like what can like make you worry? How about that's my question.
Oh, I think I'm often planning for a worst case scenario, probably. So I'm just looking at like, what might go wrong? How do we resolve it? That sort of thing.
Right. Where do you think that comes from? Why do you think you do it?
Well, if you are a fan of the Enneagram as a personality test, I think I can be a 6 or a 3. And so the 6 side is really somebody who worries a lot and tries to make sure everything's okay and is loyal to the people around them. So I probably comes from there. I don't know.
All right. So I wanted to talk to you today because I think you're the longest tenured still female in Denver. Are you?
Oh, wow.
I think so.
Could be. I mean, I joined Easton in 2008. So
right.
In Denver at the Broadway location.
Right. So, I mean, it's 12 years in Denver, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Can you think of anybody else? Who's there? Kim has been around for a while, but she came from another school, right?
Yeah. Well, and I mean, we'd have to look at the Broadway days, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Broadway.
Yeah. I don't know that anyone. I mean, I hope Shuli makes another appearance. I hope Liz comes back, but.
Okay, she's still training. No, she's not coming back. She just moved to Ohio.
Dang it. Okay.
I just saw her too. I saw her. She works for the FBI. And when she told me that, like, she does these crazy cases and she couldn't really talk about it. And I was like, yo, can you come on my podcast? And she looks at me and goes, no. And I was like,
Yeah, I bet she has some stories.
Oh, like everything's classified. Like I guess she's one of those people that sometimes on like a day's notice, they might say, hey, you need to go here. And there's that, like, how do people live like that?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's not for me. Is it for you?
Not so much. I mean, I have enough change in my day to day. I'm good.
Gotcha. All right. So you're the longest tenured female. What was so this was before I was in Denver, really. Like I would come down every once in a while. But what was Denver like? What was Denver like when you first started the favela? What was that experience like for you?
It was small. It was a smaller location. It was just a smaller community. People were friendly, but it was nothing like what it is now. Cause it was just, I think it was a new location even for, the second offshoot after Boulder.
Right.
So it was just pretty small. And at the time, I think there was maybe one female purple belt that I could look up to as a role model.
Okay.
So I just remember being so amazed and impressed, and Valor helping me learn the buck and roll as a white belt. Like, couldn't figure it out. But just, there wasn't a big community in general, but it was a good community. But yeah.
Do you remember who the purple belt was? The female?
I want to say Beth. Maybe was she purple at the time?
No way. No.
Maybe she was blue.
No, but she started with us. Yeah, so maybe she was blue. Yeah, she could.
Or no, maybe it was Rozzy came up for me. That might have been.
It might, because they were down there. Yeah. So it was definitely Rozzy. And then Arvada opened with the Kleins, and they were a little closer to Arvada. So they moved to Arvada.
That's right.
Yes. So it was probably Rozzy. So, but what just, God, Easton's gone through so many changes, and you've probably seen almost all of them, right? Like,
Yeah.
and more from the student side. You know, at first, now you're married to Junior. We'll get there. So you get to see like both, like, you know, the drama of the employee dramas stuff. You know what I mean? I guess you could call it. And you're still a student. So what was it literally like? 2008 Easton. What was that experience like for you? Like, what got you to come in the school? What got you to stay? Let's start with what got you to come in. Why did you start training jiu-jitsu?
Yeah. So my dad and mom both trained martial arts, and my dad has a black belt in a couple different arts. And so I was always interested in it, but always scared of getting stuck in a contract. So I avoided actual formal training for years because of that. But I knew I needed to do it. It was something I needed to pursue, and I wanted to join my dad in that. And so I was just walking to work one day and saw the school and thought I'd stop in. Front desk was super friendly. We had the index cards. Do you remember the sign-up system? So, you would mark off that you attended a class and that sort of stuff. So I signed up and I came in for my intro, and my intro guy was very friendly and very fun. It seemed awesome. But then I got on the mat. I didn't know how to tie my gi pants. I somehow managed to line up without a belt. Like, it was just a mess. I felt ridiculous. We were practicing front chokes and my partner was super sweaty. And I was at the time, like, even though I had parents who trained martial arts, I didn't want to be touched. Like, I didn't want physical contact. So it was just a huge leap for me to even do that first class. I hated it. I was ready to leave. And my partner said, why don't you stick around for Muay Thai? It's super fun. And I did. And because of that, I signed up. And then I had a trip to Mozambique. So I went on that trip and then came back, and the front desk reached out again. I just found the email last night from 2008 saying, like, come back. You hold pads well and you have good kicks or whatever. We want to see you.
Right.
So yeah, I came in, did Muay Thai for a year, and then eventually Junior will argue this point. I will say he convinced me to join jiu-jitsu. And now I regret that entire year of not studying jiu-jitsu because it's such an amazing art. How
old were you?
I must have been 32 when I signed up, I think, for Muay Thai. So 33 when I started jiu-jitsu.
What made you sign our contract? Because so we don't do contracts anymore.
Yeah.
In 2008, you got locked into a contract.
I guess I did. I don't even remember.
I know we did. Okay, so this was a huge thing for me, getting away from contracts.
Yeah.
I feel the same way you do. And what convinced me was the Joe Rogan show. Do you ever listen to Rogan?
All the time.
Okay, so did you listen years ago and they had that cell phone company Ting?
No.
Okay, so there was the cell phone company Ting, and they advertised on the Rogan show, and it's like, you hate your cell phone company. Why do you hate your cell phone company? And like everyone's first answer, well, those cocksuckers locked me into a contract. And then I have to give an arm and a leg and my firstborn child to get out of it. And I'm like, yeah. And like, I'm driving home from work in Denver, and then I'm like, no, because we do it. God damn it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, and I got locked in with the gym where I realized essentially what they were doing was making me sign a contract and then charging me interest on top of my membership or something ridiculous. Like,
no way.
Yeah. Super, super not good. So in spite of that, I think the Easton one didn't feel oppressive for whatever reason. And the community and the sports were so intriguing, and my quality of life improved so much that I wanted to be there. I wanted to stay. I wanted to get better, right? Tyler was my coach. Dwayne, I had amazing coaches in Muay Thai and then amazing teachers in jiu-jitsu. So the quality was obviously there. It wasn't a scam.
Right. So when we don't do contracts anymore because of the Ting commercials.
Yeah. Thank you, Joe Rogan.
Thank you, Joe Rogan. Well, just why would you do a contract if you have a great product?
Exactly. And do you want to be in a contract with a member that you don't want?
Right. No. And I don't know. No, I always like to say this one too. So you're married to Junior, right? Mm-hmm. You guys signed a piece of paper, right?
There is a marriage license, yes.
Is that why you stay?
No.
Right? It's got nothing to do with said piece of paper.
Right. Yeah. No, it's all about the agreement that we have in our relationships. So,
Right. And your relationships, and that's what it comes down to. And I think of all the things we do, I think we do that really well in Denver, and you've probably seen that process change, right? Like, so
yeah,
what has that change looked like on your end? And let me be real clear. You don't hear any buzzing right now, do you?
I do not.
God damn it, Amy. It just came for me.
Oh, no.
We're going to keep going.
Okay.
Nobody can hear it. It's just in my head.
Oh, that's so frustrating.
It's just in my headphones. So, what are the changes that you've seen was my question. What does that look like and everything?
Well, I mean, the facility change was huge, right?
Yeah.
That was a big culture shift. The operations, the front desk changes. I think the lead generation, lead follow-up has changed a lot. The care for staff is a big deal, like really nurturing and bringing people up to make sure that they understand what we're offering and what we're building. And then just an explosion of growth of students.
Yes, I would agree with all of that. But I guess my question is, I would say that the culture has changed a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think you said it earlier. Because I mean, we call it the favela, right? That was Broadway. And
yeah.
It's not the favela anymore. And
yeah.
I think it would have more to do with more than just the facility and the more students and does it make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's not just more, it's different. I think in the sense that there's an intentionality to the community that maybe has come along with the growth.
Right.
Oh, I can't hear you now.
How about now?
Now I got you.
Yes?
Yeah.
But I can't hear you.
Oh, shoot.
How about now? Talk.
Yeah, I can hear you.
There we go. Now, I got you now too. I had to switch it over. The buzzing was killing me. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'll tell my podcast guy. Where are we at here? I don't know, about 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 10 minutes in. Okay. So yeah. So what on the student side of that experience, what was that like?
Well, there's a lot of ways to slice it, but in the beginning, it was maybe a little bit of I guess I just remember like the guys I came up with, right? You just watch them progress from single guys, kind of like seeing who's around, to getting married, having kids. So there's been a maturity of the membership as well as the gym, and then just more people training, so you get better skills and a system, right? Like, I think the business really has matured, and you know what you're doing in terms of how you want to treat members. But is there something specific you want me to speak to in that?
What it feels like. What is there a difference in what the gym feels like between how we used to run it? Like for you as the member, when you walk in the school, right? Because you just come in and hang out a lot now. you don't even train, right? Like I'm saying you of course you train, but you don't always train. Like you come in and you're just chilling, right? Like last night you were just chilling. You were coming in because Horrigan and Chavez got their black belts and they've come up with you, right? Like you guys have probably been training together for a very long time, right? Like they started at Broadway. So what is it that makes you want to come into school? And I know, Junior's there till 9:00 at night every night. So, I mean, like you want to see Junior.
I can see him at home.
So it has nothing to do with Junior. All right. Sorry, Junior.
No, I'm not saying that. Yes.
I know. But there's something, right? Like you have all these relationships, with other girls now. Like there's a lot of girls, I would say, correct? That are training.
There's a large community of women. But yeah, for me, I mean, I don't so much view it as gender necessarily. I view it as these are where my friendships are. This is my community. Like I have friendships outside of the gym and I love and care about them very much, but the bulk of our lives revolve around jiu-jitsu and that community. So yeah, when I'm there, if it's front desk staff or if it's instructors or if it's other members, like I'm there being part of the community, and it's something I need. As a human being, I need that social connection, and the gym is a great place to do it because we're all striving to be better in some way, or to get through something, or come, fight some internal battle or something like that. And so it's a community I want to be around because they're healthy and we're all working toward a shared goal, even if it looks different. And before it was just smaller, it was maybe more of like we just go in and kind of try to kill each other and, see who can survive. And if you're king of the hill, great. And if you're not, then too bad for you. So I think that's maybe the difference in the vibe.
Yeah, Ian does such a great job with that, right? He creates such a great culture, like where he makes everyone feel so included. I feel like, where I'm definitely a little rougher around the edges, and just like personality, but it's just our personalities a little bit. But he does an amazing job of like creating that culture so that everybody feels that, no matter whether they're, how old are you now?
I am 44.
44. So whether 44 with a job and all these other things, or they're trying to be a champion, and he does that so well. So, what was that like? Like, so last night, I thought last night was really cool, right? Because all of those guys were older, and they all got their black belts. And so, what's it like for you, right? Like, because they God, every time you give an older gentleman a black belt, they have like a fucking meltdown. like when you tell them, like,
really,
oh God, every single time, like, and like every time, because there's the Knicks of the world that just kill them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And like what I was saying last night is I've never experienced that because I was the Nick of the world. So like I won coming up, like I have fielded the phone call at least 20 times now from whatever older gentleman is getting a black belt about, yo, bro, can we hold off?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, I'm not ready. Not yet. I don't deserve it.
I don't deserve it. So,
yeah.
And I think you can probably attest to that feeling, right? Because as a lady training, like you're like, it's rare that you get to beat the dog shit out of somebody. Right? Because especially 2008, you're coming up mostly males. You're not good at it. And you never have that point in the school where like whoever walks in, you're fucking them up.
Right. Not across populations like that.
Right.
Like,
yes.
Yeah. White belt is really hard. Speaking from my experience as a woman, it's very difficult because what I need at the end of the day is I need to beat strength with technique. Right. Speed and flexibility, if I can have it. I don't play a pressure game. I really try to use technique and leverage and that sort of thing. But you don't have any of that as a white belt. And we're often not likely to have had wrestling practice or any kind of background that's going to lend itself to being at all proficient in that, which it doesn't mean we can't be. It just means we're less likely to. And so it's really hard because you're also only training usually with other white belt men who haven't mastered the difference between strength and technique. And so they're just, sloppy
strength, all strength.
Yeah. And it's just, but I think that's what I love about jiu-jitsu is it's very hard. You suffer a lot. And when you make it through that, you can be really proud of the fact that you actually survived all of that. You learned how to defend yourself. You learned how to be offensive. And then you do, for me, it wasn't until purple belt, but then you start to feel like, oh no, okay, I can actually do some damage here. Again, not across the board, weight still matters, that sort of thing, but you can have more success because now your technique is going to beat other people's strength.
Weight, I think Henner said it really well. Like I listened to him say it once, like with like the weight strength age thing. Every 10 pounds can be a belt, right?
Yeah.
Like every 10 pounds somebody has on you, that's a belt. Like, if you want to start to be like comparing. So if you have a 150-pound white belt and a 120-pound blue belt, that's not equal, especially if the white belt's, look, if the white belt has zero skills, sure, the blue belt hopefully should win. But, and so like you experience this all the time. right? Because
Yeah.
of just the strength thing. So what is it like to mitigate that? Because like, obviously you've stuck around, you've been able to mitigate that. You've been able to work your way through that. What did you have to learn in that process?
Yeah. Well, I'm still learning it, which is why I laugh. But so I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to work on a growth mindset, right?
Right.
Seeing challenges as opportunities, seeing failure as a chance to learn. It doesn't come naturally to me. Like I was so scared of competing that I couldn't even admit that I was scared of competing to myself or anyone else. So I think I still try to constantly figure out what is the thing that's stopping me from advancing that I'm scared of doing, and I need to go and I need to do that. But it changes all the time, and age and injury, play a factor. So, I look at where can I improve in this area, and is it what's my responsibility there?
What's the injury been like? Because I know you're just coming off an injury now, right? Like,
Say again.
You tore your ACL, right? And like normally these like that's a for people our age, that can be a halter of what hard stop of whatever.
Yeah. I was reading that some study said only 1 in 4 athletes return to sport after an ACL injury. I don't remember where it was from, but at any rate, now I want to check and find out where it was from. But no, I went to Masters Worlds, as you remember, at Purple Belt. You were there to help coach me. I won my division. I got my brown belt on the podium. And then a month later, I tore my ACL playing soccer. So that was a little over 2 years ago. And I've just been trying to climb my way back to my original fitness level ever since.
So talk about that.
Tough.
Yeah, it's tough. That frustration's tough. But, I mean, I know for me, like I haven't had a surgery yet, as an older individual, but just the healing, just in general, like it's not the same, not even close to when I was 20,
Yeah. I mean, I'm dealing with it at my age with, a full-time job, and I did a hamstring graft, which, is going to weaken your hamstring muscle. So you've got to do that additional rehab on top of strengthening the knee. And then, really made me appreciate all that it takes to do jiu-jitsu, because I didn't realize, like, when I was relearning an arm bar, like you're using your hamstrings there from the closed guard, I mean, there's just so much going on physically. And so it's been a lot to get back to.
Where would you say you are?
I'm getting close. I'm getting close to where I want to be from a fitness and conditioning standpoint for what I can expect for my current, stage in life.
Station in life. Yeah, that's always changing, right? Especially we don't get Father Time is the winner every single time. So Father Time is never lost. So that can be a pain in the ass. Because we want to win that battle, because we remember 35 and we're not 35 anymore.
Yeah, no. And I experienced, at 35, actually, I had been doing 2 Muay Thai classes a day, multiple jiu-jitsu classes, all of that. And then there was just a decline in what I could do.
Right.
And given, happy to accept it. I want to just keep fighting.
Yeah, it is a pain in the ass. I'm the same. I used to train 4 times a day, 3 times a day. And now I train twice. If I train twice hard, I'm like, with exercise and jiu-jitsu, I'm like, oh my God, I don't sleep, right? Like my body is just, it's not like I can't, it's not like I'm nervous about sleeping. I am just so sore from the exercise.
Yeah, well, the recovery is different.
Yeah, that I can't, I'm just awake. My body just hurts. So you would like to get back to Masters Worlds again this year. I know we talked about this, right? You want Masters Worlds, and man, I thought you did so well this year. I have to say, I know you
really.
You weren't happy with it. I know, but
yeah.
I thought you did really well. I was really proud of you, and you were disgusted.
Oh, thank you, Professor. Still working on the growth mindset.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
Like, look, so Masters Worlds, when was it?
Yeah, last August.
August, right? So 7 months, 7 months. So you were literally a year out of ACL surgery, right? Like maybe a little over, a couple months over, but right around a year.
It might have been a year and a half. Might have been a little longer, but
Okay. Yeah. But sometimes professional athletes don't come back like that.
Yeah, it can take like 2 years to reach peak to get back to your actual level.
Right. In your 20s. When you have, somebody like, who has millions and millions of dollars invested in you. Yeah. And they're doing everything they can to get you back on that field so that they can make money. Well, that's not our cases. That's nowhere near either one of our cases, right?
Not so much.
Not so much. So, like, man, what did you not like? And then I'll tell you what I did like.
Oh, I love this. Well, what I didn't like was that my brain didn't kind of connect with my body. So there were some points that normally I felt like in the past I would have moved through, or I would have changed my grip, or I would have done some things different. And I just didn't have it. And then my level of aggression just was not there. So what I didn't like was that I could have, I wonder if I could have done more in that match to get the job done.
Right.
So.
Well, I'll agree with you that you definitely could have.
Yeah.
Whenever we lose, we could have done more.
Obviously.
And when we win, we probably could have done more too.
Yeah, true.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I mean, I've had one, between all of my fights and matches and everything, I've had one that's gone perfect. So I obviously have, only one that's gone perfect. And I'm probably close to like 400 or 500 now. Right? So like one, let's just call it 300. 1 over 300 is a statistical percentage of 0. Right? Where I didn't make multiple mistakes in the match.
Yeah.
Right? So 0%.
Yeah.
So I'll talk to you about what I thought you did really well.
Okay.
And you can agree or disagree and we can talk about it more. I thought you did a very, very good job of actually just doing it. First of all, because I know how scared you were.
Yeah.
Right. I know how nervous you were. And when I found out you were doing it, I was like, oh, okay. This could go really, really poorly, because the way you compete well is to compete a bunch.
Yeah.
And you didn't do that at all because you couldn't. You physically couldn't.
Yeah.
Right. And then to get out there and do it, I was like, damn, all right, she's got some guts here. Like she's got some guts. This can suck, because you're going to put it on the line. So I was super proud right there, just on the start. And then second, knowing how nervous you were and and your past year there, that girl came out really aggressive.
Yeah, she did.
Right? Like really, really aggressive. And when those kinds of things happen to you and you haven't competed in a while and you're not used to it and all of it combined, people fucking fade.
Okay.
Like I was ready for you just to completely melt.
Huh.
If I'm going to be completely honest, because I would say 95% of people melt right there.
Wow.
Maybe even me. Probably even me.
Like break, like
yeah, it's just too much. It's too much, right? Like why am I fucking doing this? I'm 44 years old. I have a job. I have a career. I have a husband. I have all this stuff that's great. And this fucking girl is throwing me on my fucking face.
It was so annoying.
It was so annoying. And she wasn't scoring, right? But you were just boom, boom, because she came out so aggressive and you weren't quite ready for the aggressive.
No.
Right? So, but when people with all, and so that's what I'm saying, where people fade is they just quit because they're like, I wasn't ready for this. I don't want this. I definitely have a way out.
Oh, right. Yeah, true.
I can make this stop.
Right now, yeah.
Right now. All I got to do is let her throw me on my face, stay in the turtle maybe, get my back taken, and it won't even look that bad.
Oh, huh.
You see it? You see my...
I do, yeah.
I mean, I've watched thousands and thousands of competitions. I've been in, right? I've done it. I've done like, you know what, man, just lay right here.
Yeah.
Just lay right here. 5 more punches. 5 more punches, slightly cover your head. You know, don't get too fucked up. Yep. And this will all be over. How did you not do that?
Okay.
How did you
not do that? I didn't.
How did you not do that?
Well, I just kept I just kept going.
Yeah, I know. How?
I mean, why?
Yeah, why?
Well, I mean, I think that's what you guys have helped and what you guys have taught me. Like, first of all, you know, being married to Junior, he has amazing jiu-jitsu. He has a really high standard for himself. And, you know, I take that on. And then Ian has always been like, the one thing you can control is whether or not you quit. Right. Like, and so I think that's all I was, while my brain was frozen in the wrong grip, in the one instance that I actually remember, I think that's all I thought about was like, no, if anything, I can just keep going. Like I can just keep going. That's all I have to do is not give up in this moment. So, but I couldn't have done that. Like, that's what years of being at Easton has given me. That's not my natural bent.
Do you think it's anybody's natural?
I don't know. I know some pretty hard-headed folks, you know, I mean, that are super stubborn. So maybe some people have it more than others, but I think it's also something you can just develop. Like, it's like, I guess that's what I've learned from training is it's a decision, right? I've learned to listen to what is my self-talk? Is it supporting what I'm doing? And if it's not, how do I just stop? And, you know, Mearswack gave me that book. I'm going to forget the book. It's The Art of Mental Training or something.
Yeah. I haven't read it.
Yeah, and working on the mental aspect. That to me is endlessly fascinating. Like, how do you get your body and mind to synergize?
God, I so wish I had that when I was fighting.
Yeah.
Like, oh God, if I like, because like now I can reach like a flow state when I train and when I.
That's it. That's what you want, right?
Yeah, and I could never fucking do it. Like I could never just flow and just like be in a moment. And no matter what happened, just be like, okay, and not fight it. Just move. I can't say never. It's happened, but I could never make it happen.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, and even, I mean, I went to New York to compete by myself for the first time just to try it. Like this past year, I just did a bunch of stuff I tried to prepare, but I couldn't prepare like I did for Worlds. So I just still went and did it anyway. And I wanted to be present and I wanted to be warmed up, and I was, and I was feeling like, okay, this person is lighter than me. Like I can be aggressive here. I made a ton of mistakes, but I still got finished. Like I was super present and like super in the moment. And then I still made a mistake that I got caught in and got finished. So it was a weird feeling because on the one hand, like I was doing what I wanted mentally, and I was, you know, I got the sweep and I got some other things. And then on the other hand, like I was still just fucking up all over the place. So
yeah, well, I mean, I didn't see the girl that you went against. I didn't, you know, but it still comes down to skills. I can be as present as I want, and if I fucking go against Bushesh, I'm gonna have a hard time.
Yeah, that's true. All you're gonna be present for is your destruction.
Yeah, I mean, like, it is what it is. Like, amazing for me. I was so present, and he's 30 times better, half my age, and so.
Oh, that's true. I forgot. She was younger. I forgot that part. I went down to another master's division.
I think I had to do Masters 1, right? Because that's all there was.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot that part. Because in the moment, it didn't feel intimidating, right?
I mean, that's slightly apart.
I told you I refuse to accept it.
I mean, like, there's nothing like, I mean, I guess like when you're Saulo Ribeiro.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're that much better. You can just keep competing forever, right? And like, sure. But like that's not most of our cases.
No, true.
Right? That is not even close to most of our cases. So, we have to accept some things.
I'm not gonna.
Like an alcoholic, right? Like Lord, what's the alcoholics the Lord's Prayer?
Oh, the Serenity Prayer. Yeah,
that I can control. Well, guess what? 40-year-olds lose to 30-year-olds. That's something you can't.
Not doing it, Elliot.
All right. If you say so.
Yeah, I'm gonna regret that tonight.
All right, you're all right. Dana's got it coming for her, huh? You're just gonna fucking pound her. Dana, Elliot said 40-year-olds lose to 30-year-olds. Watch this.
Exactly.
I'll send her a text afterwards so she can prepare.
No.
Let's go. You and Junior, we're all moving into the business side of things now.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and what made you guys want to go that route? You know, and yeah, let's start there. Why?
Well, I mean, speaking
for you can't speak for him. Yeah, just for you.
Speaking from, I laugh because a large part of my day job is in fact speaking for organizations or other people. So I have to switch back into a different role.
Got it.
But anyway, yeah, I mean, I think it's our community. It's something we want to contribute to. It's a next level of contribution. It's important for this stage of our life goals. I've been in, management in different roles and feel like it's it's an absolutely amazing opportunity to contribute to the success of the organization.
Yeah. It can be a motherfucker though.
Yeah. Well,
like just the problems that come along with it, right? Like the problems of being the owner.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, I don't think it's a walk in the park, and I don't think we enter into it lightly.
Right.
I think it's another opportunity to contribute and because there are discussions around like, how do you have not just a job, but a career in this type of industry? Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. So depending on what routes are available, this is one that looked like it made the most sense.
Looks like, yeah, no, it makes sense. So you're married to Junior. You're married to when did you get married?
It'll be 10 years in April.
10 years in April. And what's your anniversary?
April 9th.
Oh, you're 7 days before us.
Oh. Happy anniversary coming up.
Yeah, happy anniversary coming up. Renee won't remember, don't worry. The only reason she can remember is because we got married on April 16th in 2004.
Okay.
So the 4s and the 16s are multiples, right? Like 4 times 4 is 16. So like, yeah, she can remember it that way, but she's not good with dates. So
I'm not always either.
When did you and Junior start dating as far as when in your career your jiu-jitsu career? Sorry.
Okay. Well, I guess right after I started jiu-jitsu.
So that was his play. Come try a jiu-jitsu class.
Yeah. No, he says that was my play, but
okay.
That was not what I was thinking of. He's really charismatic, and and I don't remember how. Oh, we went to a salsa. We went out salsa dancing.
Okay.
And yeah, and then we started dating, but we didn't want him to get in trouble, and we didn't want it to be a thing, so we didn't tell anybody but a select couple of people. And so then 10 months later, we got married, and I think we said like 2 weeks before we came into the school and said, "Hey guys, we're getting married. Come to this happy hour."
So nobody knew. So almost nobody knew, and then you got married?
Uh-huh. Yeah. I mean, I don't think our secret was that great because I wasn't great on the mat as a girlfriend and him as a teacher. Like that was a little hard for me to switch into.
It's hard for everyone. Are you kidding me? Like the first thing I tell people is don't teach your girl. Like, and if you're right. And if you're a girl, don't teach your boy.
No, just go into a regular class, get in somebody else's class, leave that shit alone. Like,
oh my God. I can remember with Renee, screaming at me and me going, will you just fucking do it right? No, I'm all, get over here. He's teaching me wrong. Oh my God. And you're just like, I'm like, what have I done to myself? What have I fucking done to myself?
Yeah, it's a lot to manage. I think we finally figured it out. Like he really helped me prepare for masters a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. And, obviously got me through my surgery and rehab and all of that. So we've gotten a lot better at it, but at the beginning, yeah, not so easy.
No, it's impossible. I wasn't in Denver when it all was when you guys were dating. I knew about it. I'm pretty sure. I think
I was gonna say it was not a good secret.
Yeah, no, I think I knew about it. But yeah, I couldn't imagine like pretending like you weren't dating while, no.
Yeah, I don't think we put too much pretense into it.
Right.
Which was probably the problem. I mean, we obviously weren't like demonstrative about it, but it was a lot to juggle. So,
is it hard for you because he's such a giving person to watch him be in the academy sometimes and just like give his time to so many people? Can that be difficult?
I don't know. I don't think that part is, cause I mean, that's honestly, I think that's what's inspiring.
Oh, he's the best.
Yeah. I mean, he just really, really cares about people, really connects with people. He's crazy talented as a teacher. So no, I want to support any way I can.
So what part can be difficult?
Oh,
you said that part's not, so that means that there's got to be a part that is.
Elliot, as part of the academy stuff.
Yeah, the academy stuff, not marriage, not like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I think what I've had to figure out is like to your point about like roles, like what is my role? Like when am I his wife and that is my role? When am I just a student? When am I supporting the other staff as a, future part of the business? Like just making sure that those roles are clear or those boundaries are okay and not messing with things. I don't know that I've struck a good balance with that.
Yeah, it's hard. Renee does the remodeling of the schools, right? And Mike's the one who asked for it. Like Mike came to me and asked if she could do it because I was like, and I was like, look, yes, but there can be no her talking to me.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
I can't even as simply be laying next to her in bed and she's doing something. She can't even ask me for the credit card. Because no no contractor, let's just call it right, could just call me and ask me for the credit card. They got to call Mike because Mike's their point of contact. So I was like, I can't have this, right? Like I can't, because when I come home from work, I want peace.
Yeah.
Right? I want peace. I don't want to deal with any bullshit, right? Like I don't want to mix the two.
Well, and actually that was one of the parts that was difficult. I think at a certain point I wanted, I think people might assume that I'm married to Junior. I get all this extra training and all this extra help. That's not true.
Right.
Like I said, in more recent years, we worked out a way to do it. But for the longest time, he really wanted a strong division there. And he wanted to keep work at work and he wanted to keep home stuff at home. And so, that was figuring that out. That's probably what I had the hardest time with because you feel like you have access to this person.
Sure, you have a black belt at home.
Yeah,
and you're a white belt or blue belt coming up, and you're thinking about it all the time.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're so into it, you're straight just addicted, full Kool-Aid, and that's his job. And, and you want to be like, yo, this armbar.
Right? Or what do you think about this? Or I'd be stuck on before it was flow grappling, and IBJJF would show stuff or whatever it was. I'd be like addicted to that for a weekend, and he'd be like, "Yeah, I'm cool."
Yeah. You're like, how are you not? And you'd probably be like, how are you not watching this? And he's like, yeah, I watch it all. I don't know. I've gone through.
Right. Yeah. I was like, well, watch this with me. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I could totally see how that could be very challenging sometimes because you want more and go ahead.
Yeah, I know. And that's when he needs his break.
Right. Right. It's like Renee taking care of me. Like if I have like a cut, yeah, go to the hospital.
Oh,
like we have places for that, and I'm not there right now.
Yeah, I got 3 numbers for you. 911.
I'll sit here. I'll hold your hand.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, it's just a lot.
Whoa! What did I just do? Hello.
Yeah.
Sorry, I moved the button. Okay. So now, man, I think we have a really strong ladies crew now. Would you agree or disagree?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have a ton of women who train and really know what they're doing. It's great.
And you are at the forefront of that. You're the leader of that crew.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't know that you didn't know.
okay. I have not been doing my job.
I'm sorry. Obviously you have, because
Yeah.
because it's got to start at the top, right? Like,
Okay.
and you're at the top in Denver. So, what has the growth of the girls in Denver been like for you? What is that experience been like? Because everyone likes similarities, right? Like we just tend to be this way. Like, you like people, like you'll be drawn to people that are more similar to you in situations that are uncomfortable. And jiu-jitsu is uncomfortable. You said it, I don't know, 40 minutes ago or so, right? Like, you go in, you have this sweaty dude, you have to front choke him. He's touching you. Ugh. And it's fucking gross.
Yeah. And now I'm like, I choke you now.
Yeah. So, but now, like, we don't have to do that. That rarely happens anymore, right? Because we have such a good ladies, like, girls are in every class.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's an interesting question for me, because I think gender dynamics just inherently are kind of complex and interesting. So it's strange as a woman, because I feel like, well, I just see myself as a student. I see myself as a student first. Like, I don't see myself as like, oh, I'm a female student. Obviously I am, but I'm just there to learn and grow and train. And I have a hard time of it, probably because of my size and weight and body shape and all that stuff. And yet I think there are ways that, being of the same gender, we can build each other up. We can make sure that we're getting the training we need. So the more women you have, the more you have a shared sense of, okay, if you experienced this, what was it like for you? That, naturally is going to be different than the male experience. But I really value the opportunity to train with both genders. That to me is very important.
I 100% agree that you have to be able to train with both genders.
Yeah.
And on the male side too.
Yes.
Like if you can't train with the girls, then you suck, right? Like if there's a 200-pound dude that can't train with Anna, he sucks. He can't, like, he's not, right. Because she's a 120-pound girl, right? Like, and not like lay there like a fish, not to just be like.
That's the thing. Yeah. Yeah. And I found that with both genders, but it's obviously more prevalent with men, that they're more likely to have those control issues or the strength issues or that sort of thing.
It happens with girls, it does happen with girls. They go too hard sometimes. Like,
or they're just not, they don't know how to control when they're explosive.
Right.
So to me, that's an unsafe training partner.
I agree. I actually got mad at Anna once because she was being unsafe. Like, she was training with this 200-pound guy and he was doing really great. I think it was like 250. And she was like inverting underneath of him and like, and I was like, yo, like, don't do that. Like, that's a no-no.
Yeah.
Right? So like, it goes, and that's not just gender, that's just big or smaller.
Right. Exactly. That's what I mean. Like, kind of sorting out the differences of, is this a gender issue? Is this a size issue? Is this an experience issue? Like, what is actually happening? So I don't think the answer is always just separate out by gender, because you can still have diversity in that group that may not be the best for the training situation. Right.
And from the instructor's point of view, though, like from my point of view as the teacher of the class, like, gender is a huge thing. Gender and like gender first and then size. Like, there's such huge things because it's so hard to learn the other way. Like, to get, especially at a beginner level, not where you are now so much, but from where you are now, I could pair you up with anybody and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Because you have so much experience. You aren't nervous walking into said class. Like, everybody, that you're comfortable in the space itself.
Yeah.
Right. Where, like, in the beginning, like, it's your first day, you got this fucking sweaty, hairy dude. And you have to, like, put him in between your legs. Like, your whole life, you've been told not to fucking do this. Like, your whole fucking life. So, or in Muay Thai, people who can't, like like holding pads is very hard. It's a skill that's acquired to be able to hold pads for somebody, and to kick the pad and hit the pad appropriately is also a skill. So gender is such a huge issue for us, because if it's done poorly, both people have a bad experience, not just the female.
Yeah. And I think that's what's so beautiful for me about martial arts is in terms of like, okay, what is, messages that you grow up with, you should do this, you shouldn't do this sort of thing. Like that's what jiu-jitsu, like why I'll always be grateful and why I don't plan on quitting anytime soon is jiu-jitsu is the place I can, like, I'll never forget. I finally learned how to get proper side control pressure on somebody. And I don't think they were faking when they were like, oh, like they just felt my weight and my pressure at the right points. And I was controlling them. And where else can I walk around and be like, I'm so proud to be, annoyingly heavy on somebody, right? Like that's, I could be, that's fine. But generally speaking, that's not really what's acceptable. And so, or, like Muay Thai, like, I'm going to throw a kick and I hope I make you want to drop the pads because I've learned the right technique to be able to do that, but I'm doing it in a way that's safe or whatever. So, and relearning, like if you had a traumatic experience in a physical or sexual manner, relearning that you can be in close contact with someone and it's not going to play out that way. Like you're going to have the skills to respond in a different way and be able to retrain your brain and your body in terms of how you respond in that situation. Because now you have power and control, whereas before maybe you didn't.
Talk about that a little more.
I mean, I don't have an episode in my life that I can point to of physical or sexual trauma, but I have like the consequences or the body experience of it. So I don't know why.
What do you mean the body experience? What do you say that again?
Like, that's like not wanting to be touched when I first started jiu-jitsu, being like overly self-conscious of my body in no-gi clothing. There's just something that I have to work through, and I don't know what the origin of it is, but there's a very strong amount of discomfort and shame. And so when I'm in jiu-jitsu, I can work through that, and I can be in a new position where instead of being the weak, powerless one, I'm the one learning technique and skills and taking control of the situation. And I think that's healthy.
Do you have the same thing with like bathing suit issues? Like, does that bother you?
I've gotten through that. I've gotten through general clothing and bathing suits. I've gotten over. I'm still working on the no-gi thing.
Got you.
So,
and you understand that doesn't happen to men, like never.
I believe you.
You see our dumbasses walk out with fucking tights with your balls hanging out, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What is the matter with you? Who does this? Right? Like, who the fuck does this? I can't understand it at all. Like, I could see a wrestler, and the first time they come to a jiu-jitsu class, they wear their singlet because that's what they wrestled in.
Oh, right? Yeah.
I can understand that. But I don't understand the dude walking on the mat with tights. If you had a cup on, it's at least decent. But with just your dick and balls out, like, what the fuck? So obviously we don't have this issue.
No.
Right? So and we don't have the touch issue. Like, very few men have the touch issue.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So you understand in the beginning, right? Like as the instructor, like this is why the gender matters, because you guys, most of you do have the touch issue.
Yeah.
Right? Like, whoa, this is really fucking awkward.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's why the genders pairing up correctly and things like that really, really are very important in the beginning. Now we need to move off of them. It's like the double-edged sword of everything.
Yeah.
It can't stay like that.
No, and I think that's really my concern. Like, how do you make sure you're moving and growing enough that you are actually getting stretched and you are learning how to get through some of those things? Because the only way out is through.
Right.
Right. And so, just making sure you're not cocooning yourself off. I'm still struggling with like my age and my rehab and all of that. Like, am I really actually challenging myself enough, or is it my ego not wanting to lose in a match, even on a Wednesday night or whatever. Like I'm always trying to figure that out because I still feel nervous. Like, how's this going to go? Is this?
I would say lose more.
Huh?
Lose more.
Yeah, I know.
Just have some, like, I don't know, for me, like right now I'm working. I love the back, right? Like, I love getting the back, especially no gi.
Yeah.
But I noticed that everything I do is off of a right-handed strangle, like a right-handed rear naked choke.
Okay.
And whether I'm going to switch to the rear triangle or whatever it is I'm going to do, it's off the right side. So a couple weeks ago, I started trying to strangle with my left side, and I was fucking terrible.
Yeah, I was thinking, it'll take me however long it takes me to get a black belt. Awesome. It'll take me that same amount to learn everything on my left side.
Yeah. So what I would say for you in the losing thing is don't even make it, like, just make it about particular things. Like, you're going to employ this game, and you limit yourself. It's like a diet.
Oh, like you were talking about with Bo last night. Like, you can only do these things. He's
only allowed to do 2 things right now. Because if I let him do whatever he wants, he's going to beat everybody. But then when he goes to the tournament, he's going to find some other freak like him.
And he won't be prepared.
He won't be prepared. So I have to limit right now. Right?
Yeah.
But I think everyone should do that. You should limit. And that's going to force you to lose.
Yep.
So that you won't be so concerned with like the winning or the losing of said role. It's whether you are starting to pull off said sequence of moves. And if you can start to pull off, the sequence, like the system, once you can do it to a whole host of people, now you can move on. And you can, I always have a bottom sequence that I'm working on and the top sequence that I'm working on.
That's really helpful because that's the whole thing about growth mindset that I'm still trying to learn is that it's not the outcome, right? It's the process. And so how do I judge progress, not on the ultimate outcome, but on, what steps I employed in the process or whether I'm growing in certain ways. And that gets hard because it gets tangled up with, I'm older, but I have a higher belt. So what are the expectations around skill level and technique? And do I really live up to it? Cause I got it. And then I was immediately injured. So I didn't feel like I could grow into it. And I didn't feel ready for it. Like all of that is in there. And then you're like, well,
shit, girl, you didn't feel ready for it. You won the biggest tournament you could win. What the fuck do you mean you couldn't feel ready for it? You and Dana. Oh, I'm not ready for it. I only won I only won my weight and fucking got first place at Worlds. The fuck out of here. What do you mean you're not ready for it? What did you want to do?
I just wanted gold. That's all I wanted.
You got gold.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. So what do you mean you're not ready for it? What more could you do?
No, that's fair. But to your point around at our age and, add weight, add age, that changes the belt level. How do you go into the academy every night and be like, cool, that purple belt just fucked me up. They're 20 years younger, whatever.
Anna's 25 years younger than you.
I know, that's crazy. I could be these people's mom.
You could be her mom. Yes. Okay. She trains 3 times a day.
Yeah.
Every day. Like she took a semester off of school just to train. Can you take a semester off of work and just see, hey, I'm going to get better at jiu-jitsu?
I don't think so. No.
I don't think so. No. Right. Okay. So yeah, okay. So you're not beating Anna and you're not beating Rachel, because they're 20-year-old purple belts. Get the fuck out of here. Ask Ian how he's doing with Nick.
Yeah, I will. I have coffee with him later.
Yeah, not well.
No, but that's what I mean about that's the not wanting to lose part, right?
Right.
So thank you, Professor.
Pick something. You have you have something that you're allowed to do on top and something that you're allowed to do on bottom. And defense is always allowed.
Okay.
Right? Like guard retention, escaping side control, all that stuff. Whatever you have to do to defend is always allowed. But you're only allowed to sweep and finish in a certain way, and they have to combine.
Okay.
Right? And then when you get to the top, you're only allowed to have whatever sequence of passing you're doing. You have to pass in a very particular manner. Now, like I'm not limiting your moves.
Okay.
Right? Like you can't always say knee slice, but if the person shuts down the knee slice, there's an answer to how they're shutting down the knee slice, and you have to give the correct answer.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Does that make sense? So you have to have a combination of things.
Yep.
Right. Or like for me, everything I'm doing, I'm working to the back right now. I'm working to the back. I'm sweeping in a certain way, and then I'm working to the back, and I'm only allowed to apply a left-handed strangle series. It's the same series I do on my right, but I'm only allowed, I'm only allowed to do that. And it's like, I'm not allowed to leg lock anybody. I'm not allowed to do fucking, I can Kimura them.
Yeah.
That Kimura has to lead to the back.
Gotcha. Okay.
So try that.
Will do.
Anna and Dana and all the other girls should be trying the same thing. That's because they have their things that I've told them that, very specific things that they're going to work on, and they're only certain things. So it's about a diet. You have to go on a diet, and then that removes the ego, because you're either sticking to, like, we always want ice cream, but
but the freedom is actually in the discipline or the limitation.
Yeah. And then when you get to have ice cream, like, and then like I'll give them a day, like, hey, do whatever you want. And they're like, yes, watch this. I'm going to fuck people up, right? Like, and this is what I do with all of like my students. And then they get a day, every once in a while where, it's like a cheat meal.
Yeah.
So try that.
I will. I love this. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. I hope it helps give you the info.
I don't helps give me what?
Hope give you the info you wanted. I don't know.
I just go, who do I want to talk to? And then I just ask.
That's awesome. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks. It's going to come out Monday. So if you could share, I'll send you the links and everything. If you could share it on like your social media, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, guys. I hope everyone enjoyed the episode, and I hope you all go out there, have a great day. Hey, give a like or a subscribe on the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, wherever you're listening. I would really greatly appreciate that. And go out there and find your power, everybody.